Hey, it's me and my weird hairline. My hairline is extra weird today. I don't know why. It's like, sometimes it almost looks normal, and then other times it's like, yeah, I'm weird. So anyway, today is the annual Q&A video that I do every year. If I remember correctly, I was like 7 months pregnant when I filmed the last Q&A. So it's been over a year. It's time, my friends. So as I do every year, I posted a little video on the community tab and asked you guys to submit your questions there, and you did. I got thousands and thousands of questions from you guys. Thank you for that. But honestly, a lot of repeating questions. There were a lot of questions that I just got over and over and over and over again. So I'm gonna make sure to answer those. I have paper. I'm gonna do things a little bit differently this year. Oh, my earring. One of my hoops is gone. My hoop. I'll be right back. Where's my hoop? Oh, I found it. Okay. I have the questions in different categories. We have questions about art, questions about YouTube or my channel in general. We have personal questions, ooh, and random. That just is everything else. So I'm gonna try to keep this video a little bit organized and just answer one category at a time, except for the random ones. I think I'll just sprinkle the random questions in there just to keep it fun. First category, I'm gonna start with the video/YouTube kind of questions. First, question number 1. What are good video tips for beginners? It really depends on what kind of content you want to create and what kind of style you're going for. It's a really hard question to answer, my friend. Tip number 1. Practice. Okay. But let me think of a less annoying tip to give you. Don't be afraid to cut things out. I cut a lot of stuff out of my videos. Sometimes I end up cutting out stuff that I actually put time into and thought that it was gonna be a part of the video, and then I watch it back and I'm like, this doesn't need to be here. Cut it out. In fact, I get a little cut happy. If there's a 2-second pause, I cut it out. What do you love most about your job? So for anyone who doesn't know, this is my job. I'm at work right now. My favorite thing about doing this is that I get to be creative. I feel like there are a lot of jobs where you do get to be creative, but you have to follow somebody else's rules. I guess I don't really like to be told what to do. I get to paint rainbows and cute characters, and nobody is here to tell me like, no, today you're gonna paint broccoli. How many videos do you normally work on at once? Well, let's see. I just finished the art for one video today, but I still have to edit that. I'm filming a video right now. I'm also in the middle of painting for a video, and I am in the middle of editing a video, 4 videos. So I have 4 videos going on right now that are in like different stages of completedness. And that's pretty typical. I have to do it this way because I post a video every single week. Not every video can be accomplished in a week's time. If I use clay, for example, the clay that I've been using takes like 3 days to dry. So if I were to start a video on Monday that needs to be posted on Friday, 3 days of that time are eaten up with the clay drying. That ain't gonna work. I have to just work on everything at once and really figure out how to coordinate everything so that videos are done on time. Here's a random question. Did you ever find the bag of almond flour that you told us you lost a long time ago in Bake With Me? I didn't want to buy more because I thought I still had it, but I can't find it. Nobody used almond flour. I didn't. I never found that bag of almond flour. We moved out of that house. Never found it. It's a mystery that will plague us all forever. Will you customize more plushies in the future? I did one plushie customization video. And I've thought about doing another one, but I've had a heck of a time finding plushies that are good for customizing because you can't just paint the entire thing. I do have a few plushies that I've collected that I think I could possibly do something with. So I think so, yeah. I think I can, yeah. The answer is yeah. Can you do a number 3 of fixing my old artwork? Yes. Do you script your voiceovers or do you just wing it? Kind of a mix of both. I usually will sit down and watch through the video, write down just like kind of bullet points of like what I want to say, and then I end up just like going rogue basically every time and saying a bunch of nonsense that I didn't intend on saying, but it gets said. Why are your baking videos more professional? I got a lot of questions about my baking series and why the big change. If you've been following that series, you may remember that I ended up having a production crew come in and help me film the last 2 baking videos that I did. So those videos have quite a different vibe than the rest of my content, because all of my other content, like, it's just me here filming by myself. It's something that I wanted to try specifically for that series just because it's a lot to juggle for me. Operating the camera, the sound, also trying to bake when I don't really know how to bake very well, and like narrating the whole thing at the same time. Everyone that was there to help did a fantastic job, and it was a good experience, and I'm glad that I tried it. However, when you have a lot of people involved, everything has to be much more planned out. We literally had to have like meetings beforehand. When I do baking videos by myself, I literally like Google a recipe, go grocery shopping, drop the groceries on the counter, and I'm like, boom, let's start the baking. But when you're having people flying from out of state, you can't just wing it. I was like highly aware of how much time I had to do everything. And then of course, like just having an audience watching you, it just puts a little bit more pressure on the situation. And I felt like it was almost more stressful. It kind of changed the vibe because I was on such a strict timeline. I felt like there wasn't any time to waste. While normally in my baking videos, like I'm wasting so much time doing stupid crap. I'm just joking around a lot more when it's me by myself. And so it's just like more natural and like go with the flow. I feel like I don't like the planned out vibe as much. I kind of preferred the chaos. And it's definitely gonna be a mixed feedback. Some people really loved that it was more professional and it felt more like a baking show. But next time I do a baking video, I think I'm just gonna try to go back to doing it by myself. There's no harm in trying something and then realizing it didn't really help or it didn't really get you where you wanted to go and just going back. If a bald person works in a restaurant, do they still need to wear a hairnet? Why is this a question for me? No. Why would you? Do they? Do they make bald people wear hairnets? Because they shouldn't. There's no hair to net. How long do you plan on doing YouTube? Thinking about not doing YouTube anymore makes me kind of sad. I'm not at the point where I'm really thinking about when am I gonna stop doing this, but I don't know. Am I gonna be like 60 years old doing squishy makeovers? Is squishy roasting gonna be a thing? I don't know. We just have to wait and see. Will you ever customize an entire deck of cards? This is the current comment bomb that is going on right now. I see it all the time. I see it, okay? That's an enormous undertaking. There are what, 52 cards in a deck. I painted on 2 playing cards once in one of my art things to do when you're bored videos, and that took forever. 2 cards. Will I do it? Only time will tell. What is the least enjoyable part of making a video? The technical aspects of it are not enjoyable for me. I am not a technology person. I don't geek out over camera specs. Ugh. People assume that I know a lot about cameras. I don't. I know how to use my camera and the button to push. Luckily, I have done this enough where I kind of just like know bam, bam, bam how to set things up. It's really only when I'm doing something very different that I have to struggle in that area. Will you do more collaborations? Yeah, I would really like to. I know that a lot of people collaborate as like a strategic business type of thing. Let's collaborate so that we can get more subscribers and more views or whatever, which is fine. Totally fine. I'm not saying that's wrong or a bad thing to do. Makes sense. Smart. But for me, I really just like to choose people to collab with where we honestly just like kind of get along and it's not like really forced. So I'm kind of waiting for the next like natural opportunity and not just like, hey you, let's collab. Will you make a video out of your memes? Oh my gosh. I think this was a question in the last Q&A and I think I said yes.
Can you make a video entirely made out of your memes? Yeah, I could do that.
Did I say yes?
Yeah.
What does that even look like? It's just gonna be nonsense. Okay. A lot of nonsense crammed together. People keep asking me for it, so I guess if you guys want it, I can do it at some point. We'll see. Maybe. I don't know. Ask me next year. Will you do a video of you baking the blobs? Baking them. But why would I bake the blobs? The blobs aren't food. That's a weird question. Do you feel guilty about pretending that you had a twin? If you don't know what they're talking about, basically back when I was a teenager, this was like 10 years ago, I used a very basic editing technique to pretend like I had a twin. Things were very different on my channel at that point. I barely had anyone watching. It's not like I had this loyal audience. I didn't have an upload schedule. I would like post a video every couple months, if that. I had very little connection with my audience. It's not like it is now. Okay, so that is all the YouTube and video questions. Let's move into the next category, which is art. What do you prefer, digital or physical art? I really can't choose, okay? I love both. There's nothing quite like dipping your brush into a big gooey cup of paint and just oh, that gooey color. But also digital art is really quite cool. It's also easier. Some people don't like when you say that digital art is easier, but I don't say that as a way to put down digital artists. It still takes a lot of skill, but is it easier than traditional art? Yes. You've got the undo button, you have all these tools that just make the process so much cleaner, neater. I love that. In my mind, traditional art and digital art are not in competition. I love both of them for who they are, okay? They're different people. If you had to switch the order of the rainbow, what would the order be? Oh, I love the rainbow, okay? Don't get me wrong, don't twist my words here. But if I had to pick one flaw, it would be that I don't like blending yellow and green together. They kind of get irritating to blend. I would probably change the order to make it as easy to blend as possible. I'd probably do yellow, orange, pink, purple, blue, green. I don't even know what that looks like. Does that even look good? I don't know. Where can I go to purchase genuine Moriah Elizabeth merchandise? Funny you should ask. Nobody asked that question. But if you're wondering, you can go to MoriahElizabethMerch.com, and that's the only place to get my genuine merchandise. Will there be a Create This Book 3? Perhaps. What are some tips for making and fixing squishies? I get this question a lot. The most basic tips that I can give you is sand your squishy because otherwise your paint ain't gonna stick. Use fabric paint because otherwise your paint gonna crack. Paint one side of the squishy at a time. I've seen people try to like paint the whole thing while they're holding it. Don't do that. How do you come up with your characters? This is another question that I get asked a lot, and I just sit there and I'm like, how do you answer that? I guess you have to ask like the inner workings of my brain. Like, what are you guys doing up there? I don't know what they're doing. Do you have any painting advice for young artists? Brands, techniques, or where to start? These broad questions are killing me. If you're not trying to be a professional artist, then like don't worry about your skills or your technique. Just like have fun with it. If you don't have a big budget, then don't worry about getting fancy supplies. Just use whatever you got laying around. Enjoy your own little art world and stop worrying about how everyone else does it. What is the origin of the squishy ghost? The squishy ghost started back when I was filming videos in the basement. I'm still filming videos in the basement, but back when I lived in a basement. I used to like open the packages and then stack them up behind me, and sometimes boxes and things would like fall, and I blamed it on a squishy ghost. Follow-up question, where has the squishy ghost been? Has he been stalking you all this time? Yes. The squishy ghost is still here. I've become very tuned in to him, and I can feel him, you know. When you got your new sketchbook, did you keep the old one or did you throw it away? Oh, honey. So my sketchbook is basically a sketchbook that I use for ultra rough sketches. This is my current sketchbook. Got paint all over it. Good example of a page. Horrible, horrible. I actually have my past sketchbooks. It's kind of cool to like look back and see what I was planning. Oh my gosh! This was my plan for Shelly and Eustace. If you could bring any of your characters to life, who would it be? Probably Wilfred. She's such a sweet little soul, you know? I feel like he would just be a great little companion, and he'd always be there. Just be happy and make life better. Will you be doing any more huge projects in the future? I like to keep the majority of my projects relatively small. I like to encourage you guys to do your own art and to show you ways that you can make art and be creative with stuff stuff that's easily accessible for everyone, like stuff from the thrift store, stuff from the dollar store. But at the same time, it is really fun to like kind of step out and do bigger stuff like murals and painting on claw machines. Big projects are something that I like to do on occasion. Yeah, I think I will do more big stuff like that in the future. Would you ever let Jordan pick out the items, colors, or design of something that you paint or decorate? Sure, let me add it to my very, very long list of video ideas. Okay, we'll see how long it takes for me to get to that one. Why do people get angry when you draw rainbows? Not everyone does, but there is a class of people who watch my videos who get annoyed when I do too much of the same thing. Also a big part of my audience who gets annoyed when I don't do the same thing. It's kind of like going insane. People on one side going like, you must do the same things all the time. And then you have the other group who's like, stop doing the same things. If you were to send one of your characters to planet Nothalophagus, who would it be and what would they bring back? Derek, bring me a snack. I want to see what a dessert looks like from Nothalophagus. Can I create that? Let me write it down. Dessert from Nothalophagus. Okay, and we are moving into the final category of questions, which is personal. Do you have plans to have another child in the future? Yeah, I always appreciated having siblings growing up, and I just love the idea of giving a sibling to my current child. What's the most embarrassing thing you've ever worn? I'll have to look at some old pictures and find an embarrassing outfit. I'm sure I can find one though. A lot of questions asking about my birth story. It's actually kind of a long story. Some people may want to know, but a lot of people probably do not care in the slightest, so I'm not gonna get into like crazy detail. But I will say this. Everyone told me and was expecting for me to have a very easy, quick labor. Why? Genetically, my mom had a great, easy, quick labor. I also was like very active through my pregnancy. I literally worked out every single day of my pregnancy. What the heck? And that actually is supposed to help your labor go faster. There are so many things that I did to try to help my labor be easier. Like you're supposed to eat dates. I did that, okay? I hate dates. I hate them, they're disgusting. I ate 6 dates every single day for weeks leading up to my labor. I did all the things. Okay, I did everything. I was in labor for 40 hours, was it? Yeah, 40 hours. If you don't know, that's very long to be in labor. And I also went all natural, okay? I did not have any pain medication at any point. So, it was bad. The important part is I had a baby at the end of it, and she was healthy and great. So that's the short version. Do you ever meet fans in person? If so, what are your reactions and thoughts? I do run into people on occasion who know of my channel. Sometimes it's a really good interaction and we just say hi and they're excited and we take a photo or something simple, and you know, it's cool and it's great. The only thing that I don't like is that sometimes people don't want to actually come up to me and talk to me. They just want to stare at me. That I could do without. You know, it doesn't happen all the time. It really doesn't. If you don't want to come up to me, that's totally fine, but like maybe don't stare for an hour while we're eating, because it's kind of uncomfortable and like I don't know what you want me to do, but like I can see you. I saw this question so many times. In the future, when your daughter is older, would you let her be on YouTube? If you haven't already seen it, I did make a video introducing my daughter. I put her on camera just for that video. For the foreseeable future, I'm not gonna be putting her on camera. I don't know if she's 12, 13 and wants to start a YouTube channel, what I'm gonna say at that point, you know, like that's a long way off, okay? Right now, we're working on not throwing the blueberries on the floor, okay? That's what we're working on right now. I don't have the answers to every question planned out for the future of my child. We'll figure that out when the time comes. Oh my gosh, okay, lots of questions about Opie, wondering where he is, why you don't get to see him as much anymore. Opie is fine. Opie is still doing well. When we moved to this house, he really kind of like stopped being as involved in my videos because he doesn't really hang out down here. He is getting a little bit older now and he's just not as like hyper as he used to be. He really just likes to lounge around and sleep all day. You know, the life of a cat. A lot of questions. People asking if I could share my daughter's name, and the answer is no. I'm so sorry. I feel bad because I know that like so many of you are just really nice people that would never do anything to harm, and I wish that I could just share it with you. But unfortunately, when you put something out on the internet, you can't control who sees it. However, a lot of you are suggesting or asking if you can come up with a nickname for her so I don't have to keep on saying my child. Totally cool, yeah. Leave your suggestions for a nickname in the comments and I'll pin it in the comments when I've chosen the one so that we all have a nickname to call her. I haven't seen anybody mention this yet and it's tradition, so here it goes. Are you sure you're not a potato? You're right, it's tradition. We have to do it every year. I don't know why, but somebody has to ask me if I'm a potato. Are you a potato? I'm not a potato. What is your favorite form of potato? Oh geez, the potato questions are back. I am not a potato. Maybe next year I will be though. Did people like Nerdy Crafter and other YouTube friends know about your pregnancy before you posted it? Yes. Anyone that I collabed with knew about my baby and met her. They stayed at our house. So I wasn't gonna try to hide it from them. Anyone that I've collabed with, like I trust. If you get pregnant again, are you going to tell us? If I get pregnant again, you'll probably know. I feel like I'd be more prepared to handle it and I would kind of know what I was getting into and there wouldn't be so much uncertainty, so I would feel a lot more comfortable telling you guys. How do you deal with haters? I don't enjoy seeing rude comments. However, over the years, I have gotten used to it. They don't stick in my mind like they used to. You know, I used to see a rude comment and like it would bother me for sometimes days. I wasn't like in a corner crying about it, but I would just think about it. I'd have it in the back of my mind and it would bother me. I have gotten to the point where I can dismiss comments like that pretty easily unless there's something that's like very true where I'm like, you know what, maybe they're right and maybe I should like change this thing. But like if somebody's just calling me ugly, there's nothing I can do with that. The face is here and it's gonna be the face. Some people don't like it, fine. I didn't choose it. I think I have answered most of the very popular questions that you guys have asked. I've been filming for like 4 straight hours or something. So I am gonna stop. I have painting to do now, so I should probably get to that. Thank you so much for watching this very long Q&A, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.